So let's move on to our final topic, which is function. So what we've been using before is called built-in function, which you can see here. All the words with not all the word not in black color except in brown, which is a string. Instead in purple, this is all reserved word or built-in function. So this one is actually a function that doing something that already been created inside the Python. So let's say you want to have a program that doing something and you want to use that program again and again. You don't have to rewrite it again from scratch, from zero until finish. But what we can do is create a function of them so that we can call it the function again and we can run it again and again. So let's try a very simple program that will help you understand what is function is all about. Function. So let's make a very simple program which take the name of the user, then we'll say hi user. Okay, so let's have input from the user. So input and enter your name. Inside name variable. Then we're going to make hi and the name of the user. So print hi So when we run this, we call enter name hi Arif. So let's say if we want to use this print hi name, so you need to write over and over again print hi comma name, print hi comma name every time you want to use it. So what if you don't want to do this over and over again, especially when the program is really long? This one is really simple, so it's look nothing to use function. But if the program is really long, it's really convenient for you to make it as a function, so you don't have to write it from start. So in order for you to start writing your user-defined function, so you need to start with def and the name of your function. So let's say the function will like say hello, so I like to name the function as hello. So def hello, open and close bracket, and double dot, and then need to indent it so that the print height will be under the hello function block. So when you define a function, you need to call the function in order to use it. So we need to call it. How to call it? Just call the name of the function, which is hello with open and close bracket. So when you run, enter your name and hi Amit. So but what is so special about this hello word? This function. So let's try something a bit more complicated but still easy for us. So let's make a calculator. So before this, we only can do one operation at one time, and we need to rewrite it again and again. So what if we don't want to write it again, like plus 2, like number 1 plus number 2, number 1 minus number 2, number 1 multiplied by number 2. So what we can do is, if we want to use the calculator many times, so why not we just create a function of it and just call the function, and it will do the tasks that we already defined them, so that we don't have to write it from scratch. So let's make a calculator. Let's say calculator. So let's make a calculator with a plus function. So def plus, I name it plus, open and close bracket, and don't forget the double dot. So num1 plus num2 equal to result. So, and the function also going to print out the result, print result. So let's make more. The total is so let's try this out. So first we need to initialize the num value. So let's say num1 is 9, num2 is 10.9. So we missed the equal symbol there, and we run the plus function. So plus, open and close bracket. So when we run this, so it will gives us the answer, which is 9.9. Okay, now we've completed a plus function calculator. So let's say we want to do another operation, let's say subtraction. So we just define def subtract and open and close bracket, double dot, result equal to num1 minus num2. So print the output, print the total is and comma result. And if we click run here, we enter the result. Okay, if you run this program, you note that the answer is still 9.9. It actually doing submission. So why is this? Because we don't call the subtract function, we call it plus function. So it will do all the operation under plus function. So if you want to call, when you want to do a subtraction function, we need to call subtract function, and we need to delete the plus function. So then we don't call out the operation for addition. So this is the advantages of definition of function. Before this, if you want to do a plus function, you need to write all the code for plus, and then you print the output, then it will do the plus operation. But then if you want to do subtraction, you need to delete all the code for plus and then change it to minus for subtraction. Then you can do operation for subtraction. So but here you don't have to delete the code for plus function, because you just can you can just leave the code there without running them. So by not mentioning the function, so we mention the function that we want to use. So right now, like I want to use subtraction, so I just mention subtract, open and close bracket, and with the number that we have, enter. So it will do subtraction. So we can have many more that function. So like we add two more function, which is division function, and also for multiplication function. So we do for multiplication first, def multi, and result is equal to num1 multiply with num2. You need to note that the name for the function must start with a letter. It cannot start with number or a symbol. It must start with a letter and cannot use reserved words. And print the total is result. And another one more for division. Okay, so here we can see that we already have 4 functions, and we just can call out any function, any operation that we want to do. Just call out the function, then it will automatically perform the operation without the need of you to delete the previous code. So let's say we make this program much more user friendly. So right now, the user is not entering any input to the program. We predefine all the variable. So we can now ask the input from the user. So input. And don't forget, because this is a calculator, it must be a number. So you need to mention it. It's a float, an input, and from message instruction to the user, enter number, and you just copy this for the second one. So we'll enter two numbers, and we will call a function. So like now, let's say use multiplication, multi, and then open close bracket, run. So enter number 3, 4.44. So we got the total is 13.32. So let's make more adjustment to this. So let's say we don't want the program to we don't want for us to mention it all over again. So now we want to use multiply. So we need to change the code to call multiply function. Later on, we want to use, let's say, a submission. Then we need to delete the code, edit the code, and call plus function. So why not we just we allow the user to choose what operation they want to use. So now we add if else function so that we allow the user to choose what operation they want. So here we change this into if else statement. So if let's say we have introduced one variable called choose. If choose is equal to 1, so let's say at the beginning of the program, we will ask the user choose your operator. So like they can enter plus, minus, subtract, plus, minus, multiply, or division. So if choose is equal to the symbol plus, you mean we want to run plus function. So double dot plus, open and close bracket, and else if choose is equal to minus, we run subtract function. Subtract, open and close bracket, and another two more for multiply and division. So I just copy this one and change the symbol, and we call div. So you can see in the function that we create before, we repeat all over again. Print the total is result, all over again. But we actually can just reuse the print function, but the value is can be from div function, or from multiply function, or from subtract, or from plus. So in order to do that, okay, first we delete all the print function here, because we don't want to repeat using all of this print total is many times. So like we take all of the print outside the function, and after we run the operation of the division or multiply, then we display the output. So now after that, let's say here, after run the division operation, it will print out the total of the result from the division. So in order to do that, first we need to return the result. We need to return the value from div function. So how to do that? We need to use div function, return function. Return what the value you want to return from that function. If we do a lot of things in the div function, so we do maybe other program, we do a lot of things, but we only to return that value. So which value? So in this case, we want to return the result value to the div function, so that we can use it outside of the function. So return result. So basically the result value will be stored inside a diff function, and we can take the value from diff function into a new variable. So let's say diff is where we call the function, and then we can put a new variable, like say also using result with small letter r. So result equal to diff, open and close bracket. So what these things do in line 24 did is basically it will store the value that the diff function return into result. So we can just print result. And so we don't need to mention it every time in each function that they have to print out the value. So we just repeat it every time in the function, which is return result, and then save the function result, the function value that we written earlier into a variable, then print that variable. So like, okay, so when we do this, enter a value 2.3, 3.4. So what we are doing division. So 2.3 divided by 3.4, and then the total is 0.6764. The print function is not in each function that like we did before, but actually it is at the end of the program, where they are able to print out the value that the division function calculate. This is because we return the value earlier. And if we change the operation, let's say we change to multiplication operation. So when we run this, so enter a number 2.33, 3.44. You now see that the total is 8.0152. So the print total is result. We don't have to repeat it many times. So this is really a good thing. So it make the function become more handy. Let's say the program is really long. You have multiple value to return. So if you need to like write all of those things inside the function, the function will be long. So but by doing this, you can reduce the length of the function. Okay, one things that you need to know that the function, the variable that is declared inside the function is called local variable, and the variable that is declared outside the function is called global variable. So what I mean is, let's say I have a function called num. We use another. So let's say value is equal to 9. Value is equal to 9. Value is a global variable, which is you can use it all over the place in the program. You can use inside the function, you can use outside the function. But when you declare a variable, like say in plus, we declare a variable name, let's say name mark equal to 10. When you cannot use the value, you cannot use the variable mark outside of the function. This is because the mark variable is only can be accessed locally inside the function. So let's say we have mark equal to 10 in the function plus. So try to run plus function. Then we also add print mark, because we initialize the value of mark inside the plus function. So let's try run these things. Enter a number 3.4. So you see that there is not a valid mark for mark 10. It should be 10, but it's now 65. Okay, why this is happening? Actually, why it's contain value, because we have used a function mark earlier in our program. Okay, before I forget, actually, what happening when I create a new column of program, it doesn't isolate the column between from other program. So if you run something above here, like say name, enter Ame, so actually down here you can actually print name, because it is linked between this column and also above column, and all over the in this column. So that's why we got a mark, we got a value mark here. But let's try something that we don't have. yet. Let's say grade equal to 10. So print grade. So when we print this thing up, 2.3, 3.4, you see we got error because we never have grade before and we never defined it before. So that's why we got it error. We define it in the function, but it is local variable. So it can only be used in the plus function. So when we try to print out, like say here, print grade, and we remove this line, and you see that 2.3, 3.4. So it suddenly a 10 appear this here. This is because we actually print grade inside the function. So you need to know that you need to know the difference between local variable and global variable. So the local variable can only be accessed inside the function, and the global variable can be accessed in function, in another function, in many functions. Like say you have 4 functions here, all those 4 functions can access that global variable. And one thing actually is really important is we have grade is equal to 10 here, but outside here we also have grade equal to 20. The name is the same, but grade in line 3 is a global variable and grade in line 5 is a local variable. What is the difference between them? If you print grade at the end of the program, the value that it's going to print out is actually 20. Why not 10? Even though the grade is equal to 20, then we run plus, then we re-enter again, the value of grade is 10, but end up it still print out 20. Why this is happening? This is because here, even though the name is the same, but local variable and global variable are treated differently. So they are actually 2 different variables. One variable is, even though the name is the same, if you want to print out a local variable, you need to print the variable inside the function. So you need to include print grade inside the plus function. If you do it at the end outside of the function, it will call a global variable, which is up here, grade is equal to 20. So what if you want to take the local variable and bring it outside, want to use it like say here? So this is where we use return. So that result here actually a local variable, but we return the value of result into division, into div function, and then we call it down here. We save it into the result. Then we call the total the variable result here. So you need to be careful here, so not to jumble up, to not to confuse between local and global variable.